Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your questions. I've got two pieces of paper here, Shaq. One says nothing and one says use this version, which makes me think there's a naughty question on this one, which I'm intrigued to ask, but we'll never know.
Okay.
Frank and Gab are with us as well. Do you not want to see what's on this paper, Shaq?
No.
It could be something
Not with that introduction. No, thank you.
Oh, dear. Gab, are you excited to cover Arsenal games in the Championship next season? Wow.
That's a bit harsh. No, but I think Arsenal are boosted by the fact that there's a number of
Sheffield United are in the league.
Sheffield United. I think West Brom have played better than their results.
We can't answer this question seriously.
Fulham got a result today. But no, they're not. They're not going to go down.
Have you ever seen a player, Frank, go from being 100 to 0 like Aubameyang? It's quite something to watch.
Are all the questions Arsenal related?
No, I don't believe so.
Carry on, Frank. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe the other one was for West Ham. Maybe you missed that, Shaka. Well, I wouldn't say that it's going to 0. I understand what Dave says, but for the strikers, it's always the same thing. He has to be served. Even if some players can create themselves their own chances, most of the time they have to be served. And I guess this season, Aubameyang doesn't do well enough, but he's not served enough. So it's not completely, let's say, his fault of the result of his emptiness of goals this season.
It's another Arsenal question, Shaq.
Emptiness of goals. That was.
Don't you think it's about time Arteta got Ozil back in the team? I know this has been talked about before, but they need a player of his quality now more than ever, don't they? We could make it worse.
That's a fair point. Listen, I think Arsenal have to be.
Gab's crying.
I know. Gab loves Ozil.
Gab, what's wrong? Why are you crying?
Gab loves Ozil.
Mesut Ozil's contract expires on June 30th, 2021.
Right.
As of
Next
January
year.
1st, okay? We're talking what? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks? He can sign with any other club. You've made your decision. Now stick with it. They have flip-flopped so much with this. It started way back with Unai Emery. Remember him? Ozil's great. He's important. He plays him, and then he doesn't play him away from home. And then he comes back, and then he goes away, and then Arteta, and he plays him, and then there's a whole fiasco, and then the Uyghurs, and the wages, and the text messages, and then he disappears. He's on the naughty step. Enough. Make a decision and stick with it. Okay. It's not fair to anybody, least of all Mesut Ozil.
Angry Gab there.
Shaka.
It's just annoying.
Oh.
That's annoyed
Did
Gab.
Klopp make a bad... Aren't the Eagles winning by quite a big margin, Gab? I thought you'd be happy, not shouting. Did Klopp make a bad mistake by starting Jota against Midtjylland when a win was not necessary, Shaq? How big a blow for Liverpool is it that Jota is out for 2 months in such a fixture-congested part of the season?
You have to rotate your squad, and Liverpool's squad is that good that regardless of who you bring in, it's incredibly talented players. Listen, in hindsight now, with Jota's injury, you understand the sentiment, but you have to rotate, and inevitably, somebody's going to go. If somebody goes down, you can't second guess that decision to rotate.
Frank, is it just me, or does Manchester City seem to have a fear of failure, which Pep's teams generally have never tended to have? Yesterday against United arguably was a safety-first approach by City, and that's so unlike the Pep we know.
Again, it's very hard to understand what happened yesterday yesterday to Manchester City. The way they played, the way they didn't play, in fact. The way they didn't want to play, and the lethargy that we talked about so many games that we saw about top teams. It's like players are not capable of doing better than they do now, are getting tired, are getting bored by the fact they have 2,000 people or nobody, like we saw in Manchester, and they're not capable of giving the extra that we need to be at the top like they normally are. And that's the main concern about every club. And it's not especially Manchester City. But we see nothing we can complain because, you know, they drew. They didn't lose. And we heard so many times that when you have a bad game, at least you draw. It can happen. It happened maybe too often, but it happens.
Gab, I haven't spoken to you about this game. You're not going to tell me you liked it, did you? You're not going to be one of those.
No, I didn't like it. Like
Good. Right.
you
Let's
said,
move on.
both teams
Right.
tried to avoid losing.
Frank,
but
what does
Riyad
Chelsea-
Mahrez buries that shot. We don't have this conversation.
Well, yes, but he didn't.
No, but they still created enough chances to win. I think that was the point.
They created
Pep
one
made.
chance. That was the chance.
No, then the other one, the one where Jesus got the ball stuck under his feet. And
Well, that's
whatever.
not a chance.
Pep said there were 3 or 4. And,
Three
you
or
know.
four.
Look, that's Pep's count, okay?
Well, Frank, what does Chelsea need to improve in order to win ugly when they don't play well?
That's a good question. I said yesterday that I was upset because that game reminded me where Chelsea was full of international foreign players and not capable of fighting with the real English fighting spirit. It's what happened yesterday. You have to be a warrior. You have to sometimes be dirty, and half of the team is not capable of doing that. The team is young. They have maybe no experience. And you have to find another way to win. And, well, first, don't make mistakes at the back, like we saw the hesitation between Thiago Silva and Mendy. But also, you have to make sure that you're going to score a goal when and steal a result in a way by winning 1-0. Chelsea tries to play too nice football, nice in the middle of the park, but non-effective yesterday, especially at front and at the back.
Shaka, simple question. With so many big teams struggling right now, who is the favourite to win the Champions League this year?
Ooh.
West Ham, of course, didn't qualify for the Champions League. Otherwise, it would inevitably be them.
We're saving ourselves for next season.
Well, it's going to win the Premier League, Shaka, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah?
We finished top 4.
Finish top 4? Yeah, sure. You want to bet with that?
Nope. If I were putting my money on something to win in Champions League right now,
Yes.
I'd still go Bayern Munich, you know.
Yeah? I think that's the obvious.
That's
That's
yeah.
the obvious choice, isn't it? Yeah. Frank?
Who's going to win the Champions League?
Yes.
Bayern Munich, again.
Bayern Munich. The draw is tomorrow. Monday. It's exciting, isn't it? What time is the draw, Gab? Do we have to get up early? Do you know what time it is?
Like you're going to watch.
Well,
The
no.
draw is at,
In France.
I think it's at 3 a.m. Jurgen Klinsmann time on the
Oh, my
on
goodness.
the,
It's what?
Pacific.
So what, 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock in the morning?
On the
What?
West Coast.
Oh, wow.
11
11
o'clock
in English,
London,
in
noon
England.
Central European.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yes.
Frank.
Yeah, noon in France.
Noon in France.
6 a.m. for you,
6
guys.
a.m. No way, I'm getting up for that, Shank.
I-
Although it drags it all
Hold
out,
on.
doesn't it?
Hold on.
By the time.
If it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you wouldn't watch it.
Well, no, because it's awful. And, by the way,
I mean, my tie was off.
guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed what will happen. Someone is now tweeting out every single possible draw. Tweet them all out, boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom.
And
And
then
then they'll delete
one
all of
person
them
will
apart
claim
from the
it.
one, and then they'll be like, oh, look, I
Look at me,
predicted
look at me,
this.
look at
Inevitable. Probably Gab's burner account.
Why,
Definitely.
Why has that got you so red?
Because it happens every time.
Hold on.
Every time there's a draw, that happens.
Of all the things you get mad and go red over, that's what it is.
That's it. That's it. Fine. Speaking of getting mad, Frank.
Fix my tie, by the way.
Oh, Gab, you didn't answer
Hold
the
on.
Champions League question. You were too busy telling us about Jurgen Klinsmann time.
Bayern Munich, no, I have a stat for you. Since Craig's not here, he's not around, is he?
Yeah,
I feel empowered to mention expected goals. In Bayern's last 6 Bundesliga games, going back to the game against Cologne, which was before the Borussia Dortmund game, they have had lower expected goals than their opposition in each of those last 6 games. That's a trend. That's not good. So I suspect that, Frank and Shaka are picking Bayern because, like me, they're absolutely befuddled and have absolutely no idea of who actually looks good and who the favorites are for the Champions League.
Did Gab give you a prediction?
So who's going to win the
Did
Champions
Gab
League?
give you a
This is what the person's asking, not a big long blurb about expected goals from a team that stormed their Champions League
Craig.
group and thrashed
All for
Atletico
Craig-
Madrid
all for
4-0
Craig's
in the
benefit.
process.
Not Bayern Munich.
No, you can't
I'm gonna go
put a
Manchester
big mark
City.
on that. No, that gives you 15 other teams.
I told you, I'll go Manchester
15,
City.
15 or 32.
Manchester City, I pick them every year.
Manchester City to win. How's that worked out so
Yes.
far? For Frank,
Why not?
what's the biggest sin? Ready?
Yeah.
Committing a foul throw or ordering your steak well done?
Ooh. Ah,
Committing a what?
a foul
A foul throw.
What is that?
You know, when you take the throw and your legs up,
Oh.
or you're going over the line.
Yeah. Well, the throw. It's absolutely a disgrace. You know. I mean, that's the basics of a football player, knowing to do so, doing to do it, and that's a real shame. And I see that so many times now. They don't care about it. I think we should erase that. We should put the ball on the floor and play with like a corner kick. Why do we need to put we are players who play with the foot.
Yeah.
Why do we need one thing to play with the hands? We don't need that.
Yep.
We don't need that.
I tell you what, it would
Put
improve.
the ball on the floor.
It would improve youth soccer immensely. The number of times you've got to stop the game because the kids can't throw it in properly.
As it happens this year, I have kids. My daughter plays high school soccer. They did kick-ins as part of the COVID protocols.
And how has that worked in the dynamic of the game?
It was all right, actually.
Yeah?
It's fine.
Is it better than throw-ins?
Ah, I have no problem with throws.
What's your daughter? She's good, isn't she, Shaq? All state?
Yeah.
Is that what you say? Yeah? Number 2 in the state?
You know, Dan?
Yeah.
Dan and Shaka?
Oh, and Shaka.
There is
Listen.
there is a tournament in Toulon for very young nations. I don't know if Shaka you played there, and Brazil came and everything, and it's very interesting because it's been like for 30 or 40 years, and they all play during that tournament with the throw-in with their feet. In fact, it's like a corner kick, and it's very much better, and it should have been, like that for a while now.
Is that the
I don't
Toulon
understand why
Cup?
we keep that. Yeah, I don't know why we keep that stupid thing.
Oh.
I mean, that's stupid. We are football players. We play with our feet,
Yeah.
except Shaka and his friends. But otherwise, we play with our feet. So we'll keep on doing that. That's it. Put that on the floor and play.
Hey, Gab, seems to make sense, doesn't it?
What about throwing?
No, it doesn't. It's horrible.
Why?
Because you know what? It would be fine if everybody was a Frank Leboeuf, an elegant passer and whatever. But if you have kick-ins all the time, and then the Sam Allardyces of the world get onto it, or Tony Pulis's, every ball is just going to be somebody hoofing the ball into the box. The nice things about throwing
Yeah,
is
but
that unless
Gabby-
you're superhuman, you can't throw the ball into the area. Anybody can kick it into the area,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Gabby, it happened with Stoke City like 10 years ago, where they were reaching the middle of the pitch, with the throw-in. So, what's the point? And you can always find a player. We are able to do so.
Even this one guy, but you can kick it the length of the pitch. I mean, if you have a throw in at the edge of your own box, all of a sudden Shaka comes out and boots the ball to the opposing penalty area. You can do that, Shaka, right?
What's wrong with that,
Easily,
Gab? What's
right?
the problem with that? That's fun, isn't it?
And what's the problem with that?
It's
Yeah, I
not
agree.
fun. It's
What's the problem
boring.
with
It's
that?
rubbish.
But everyone's playing out. You could have that now, but the whole world is playing out from the back.
And
Yeah.
that's much better, much more entertaining, much more sophisticated.
So perfect. So get rid of throw-ins and then you can do it from there. There's no problem.
I'm with Gab on this.
What do you mean?
I don't want to see throws. I mean, I don't want to see kick-ins. I'm with Gab.
You said it was great for your daughter. They worked
Yeah.
well as a concept.
Work fine for them. They're kids.
But why you?
I don't want to see. I don't want to see on a professional level.
Why, Shaq?
Why?
Luddite. I want to see changes.
Well, first,
here,
because
Shaq.
I'm a traditionalist like that.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah, that's why.
Yes.
That's why IFAB got rid of you.
No, I'm with Gab. As soon as you get a throw in, wherever it is on the field, you throw your centre halves up in the opposition box and boot it. That's no good to anybody.
And you win the second ball. Look, like if you're gonna do it, if you're going to do it, then make the person dribble out, for example.
I have no idea.
But otherwise, it's just an invitation to people hoofing it.
Yeah, but if you have a corner kick, you can do that.
That's a corner kick.
Let's say that you forget. Yeah, but whatever. You simplify the game, and you just decide that you can have a corner kick everywhere. What is the difference? We don't care. We see ugly throw-in. You know what? Most of the time when you have a throw-in, you have 80% chances of losing the ball when you have your throw-in for yourself.
There you are. And what would happen to Stevie's throwing coach who we love so much? He'd be redundant.
Did Frank just make up that stat?
No, I've heard that stat as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That stat's something made up.
Right. So do you agree? You agree, Gab? Committing a foul throw is worse than ordering your steak well done?
It's pretty bad. I mean, look, I'm not one to judge. I like to be inclusive. There are certain people who like eating nails and broken glass and
what do you mean you like to be inclusive? You
steaks.
shouted at Ali's wife when we went out for dinner for having her steak medium to well done. That's not inclusive.
Because it's hurtful to me. It's hurtful. It's hurtful to me. I take that part personally. But ultimately, I would have shouted at her more if she'd taken a foul throw. And it cost me the game.
Out on the street, show me a throw-in.
What kind of throw is that?
Mrs. Moreno, what's that? Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. That's it. That brings us to the end of today's show. You could be up at 3, up at 6, up at 11, up at noon to watch the Champions League draw, or you could just watch our show, which would be much better and quicker and more succinct. Our reaction on the draw and everyone going, well, we can't give you predictions. They're not playing for 3 months. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.